Some people know about this, but if they talk about it, they will basically be silenced. Oh boy, so much stuff happened this last few days, and we are gonna talk about on this part 2 video. And just a reminder to do not harass anyone that is affiliated or involved on the drama. So let's get into the video. I've noticed on the part 1 video that it had a lot of comments, almost 400 comments, and I've noticed that some of the comments were from server staffs of Suppression that were retired or whatever, and they told that the lack of communication, lack of management and professionalism and etc. So we will talk about it right now. So let's get into the topic. So here's the comment of Extrav, and he says, former staff in game mod. While my time as a staff member, there was little to no communication with the higher ranks. Pay was inconsistent and the rules were often banned and broken by those who we couldn't punish. There are signs of favoritism, unprofessionalism, manipulation, poor management, and etc. So this proves more that it has more favoritism in the past few years or the recent years too, because I remember that a few weeks ago, I think a week ago, they've made game mods apps, and some guy didn't meet the requirements on the it needed to be applied on the game mods apps. The requirements were to have 1k messages, 1000 messages, and the guy had like 300 or 200 messages. So that's clearly someone on the server staff team made something up to make him be applied or have the rank. Now we have another comment from a server staff, and he says, former staff member here, glad Suppression finally got exposed. Honestly, my experience there was pretty weird there, including several cases of bias, casual rule breaking between let off of higher ranks, mostly saying the N-word, who don't hesitate to punish people for doing the same thing. On top of that, a horrible moderation system, as well as horrible higher ranks. They favorize their friendship with someone to promote them to administrator instantly and just let off people who work hard with the staff team to rot and wait for some kind of promotion for their hard work. There's still many things that haven't been mentioned in this video, perhaps in a second part. This comment just proves even more about the unprofessionalism and the favoritism on the server. Why can't they just make the applications fair? Anyway, now we have a comment from Roach, the ex-content creator and event hoster and server staff on Suppression Studios. Roach says, ex-moderator and event host for this server, just got banned in Suppression for talking about Sonic's video today. They are deadass silence everyone up and trying to bury it by banning people, bro. Not even mute or a warning? Been on this server for almost 4 years, and this is just appealing to watch. This is clearly a sign of them silence people about the drama. They're not making a statement about it. Spree saw the video, Capri saw the video, Frauds probably saw the video too, but they can't just make a statement because what else they're gonna say? Because it's clearly a sign of racism and other stuff. It's literal a crime. Some people were defending them. What is the point of not understanding that it is literal a crime? Is it that hard to understand? And the silence, you can see why there are silence people, because because they know that it's the truth. They know, and they can't do anything about it unless you be silenced. So if you talk about it on suppression, you're gonna see they will be silenced. There's no point. There's a message of Cialitike that he sent a message on my Discord, so we're also gonna read that too. He says, I'm Cialitike, as you know, a former server star moderator for Suppression Studios. When I was first hired after mod apps, everything was fine for a while, made friends here and there. Though, noticeably, what bothered me right off the bat was noticeably horrible moderation system the server had. There was a secondary server reserved exclusively for testers and moderators, in-game and server. Punishment would seem rather too harsh or underwhelming. What ticked me off too was the fact that Fraud, the only manager at the time, was promoted according to Yuri for being his friend. Maybe he had moderation experience too, but from my perspective, at least he didn't have any with his poor professionalism and organization. Focusing on Fraud, he reprimanded people for making use of the N-word when he had dropped it casually with the community server. Quite ironic, ain't it? And of course, without any repercussions, or even as you show in the first part of your video, Spree doing similar things. Now moving on from the context, first signs of shenanigans. Here's where things went downhill progressively. Not even a month after I was hired, when we first got hired, we were trial server staff members, and we were due to being promoted a month after. When that moment arrived, we got promoted as promised, though something really unexpected happened. Fraud willingly promoted his friend, Crow, to administrator for apparently helping him out a lot. It didn't bother me until everyone in the staff team noticed Crow wasn't doing jack shit moderation-wise. He was just there for decoration purpose, and as of today, he's still a staff member there. Moving on to another flaw, payments. Yuri promised paying us every 2 or 3 months or so. Well, we received our first pay only 4 months after being hired. The good side was the pay was decent for just moderation's work, but there was a downside to it. For instance, Crow was doing nothing as I precised, yet he was paid as much as all. Doesn't make sense, does it? And those inconsistent pay timestamps kept going, as well as apparent laziness towards moderation, as neither Fraud nor Yuri were too bothered to actually look at it if we did our job or not. And now here is a point I'd like to emphasize. Very apparent bias. To sum it up, Astro would work his ass off for a few months straight until he had reached nearly 500 punishment applied within the span of 3 months by pulling all-nighters sometimes, and he did not get any sort of recognition for it, whether it was a promotion or a high pay. Obviously, he asked for a promotion with how hard he was working, yet Fraud always avoided, saying stuff like, it might not be a good idea, or whatever. Yet he didn't hesitate promoting Crow to administrator, and only after asking a lot and working to the bone did Astro get a promotion that seems reluctant of Fraud and Yuri. Then August, a few days before I retired and inevitably left, a new manager appeared, Mask, and I still remember on this day Yuri's sole and futile argument to hire him was, he's a cream mod, he's better than all of you. Basically, Mask is a criminality moderator. Well, okay, he surely had experience, but this emphasized the bias for a reason, being that this dude barely interacted with the server and was unsure whether to be trusted or not. It's no surprise Yuri's only argument was this, considering he loved criminality. To note that Spree and Yuri, as well as Fraud, would spend half of their day playing games, then actually work on their fucking game and server. They'd send videos of their gaming sessions, which they had in VC, all the time in general. We would see at least 3-4 videos a day. External from moderation, my experience within Suppression has been creeping me out more and more when witnessing things myself. I'll list them here below as it's getting a lot, which I can detail if needed. Spree used to make Roblox not safe for work, and appears as a creator within a server dedicated to this. Several cases of bias with Euphoria, a former server staff mod, who started dating Spree a bit before I left. Spree gave her 30k Robux and took money from Yuri on top of that for that exact purpose. Lying behavior from Yuri, excuse to delay updates, fake sibling, cryptic, it's the opposite, as well as witnessing myself some of the screenshots of the blackmail strategy between Spree and Yuri. Just clarifying, Cryptic is the real guy. Yuri never existed, and we have proof to that, by the way. To summarize everything up from what I wrote from the complete start, higher ranks on Suppression students lack a severely moderation experience, especially fraud. I can testify with my current years of moderation experience, as I currently am moderating servers. Their moderation system sucks, and they're especially lazy to do any actual job. Max has in-store changes that I witnessed, which just made the server stricter and stricter for no reason. These higher ranks are severely biased and lack for professionalism, prioritizing their friends over people who actually were willing to work hard to achieve more. Aside from Astro, I was not far behind in terms of moderation, working a lot, and yet I was given nothing. For the love of God, stop sucking criminality toes. Working there is not beneficial. You're left out and unrecognized from any of the higher ranks. You're here to fend off as lower ranks. Disgusting behavior that I saw myself from Spree and Yuri. I think I can relate about Mass trying to make the server stricter and stricter with the rules, because in the past, I think around 2023 or 2022, the server was a lot more filled with slurs and swears word and other stuff too. So I guess I can understand Mass part of making the server stricter and stricter. As you can see from the comments of the server staffs and messages, you can see that Suppression server sucks on professionalism, on moderation, because they lack of experience on moderation. How do you think they're gonna make the server good like that? I understand that Mass tried to do something about making the rules stricter. Now we're gonna talk about the stolen assets, that I'll be clarifying some stuff about the Excel model. So let's get into the topic. After seeing some stuff on the Excel model, I saw that it has a kind of like a copyright, not really a copyright, but it's called CC BY, which basically means that you can use the model for commercial or in games and other stuff, anything about your project, but you're required to credit the person that made the model. So technically you can use the Excel model, but you have to credit the person. But as Spree said, oh, we just forgot to credit the person. How do you forget to credit the person after a year? Is that even possible? If you guys find a double barrel shotgun on the site CG Trader, the double barrel is free to use. It's called royalty free license, which basically means you can use anywhere, anywhere basically. The combat knife is the same thing as the XL model. The AK model is the same thing too. It just requires attribution or credit. But I found something, and that actually can take down the game. Do you guys know the Machete V1? The Machete V1 is used on the Call of Duty Modern Warfare from 2019. If you go on the Activision Fair of Use, it's gonna appear a site with a lot of stuff talking about. If you go and scroll down a little and you reach on the third part, it's gonna say license, and it's gonna talk about their assets. Basically, you can't use any of their assets. Basically, you are prohibited to copy, to just sell the assets. It's prohibited to modify the assets too. So basically, the Machete View 1 is basically from Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. And also, on the survival cutscene on the start, when you click play, and you wait for the assets to load and then click play, there's a cutscene of you waking up with a sack on your head. You can see a truck, right? That truck is from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, as you can see on the screenshot. And the soldiers' models, or the monolith, actually, specifically the monolith, he has something around his body, and this something is basically a UGC item on Roblox called Exoskeleton. And on the UGC item, you can see there's like red stuff around, like on the shoulder and like on the side of your character's arm. If you guys are on the PC laptop, if you guys go on the Roblox series, try to find the monolith model on chain. Try to find it and you get the model, and look at the size of the character, and look at the back too. If you see there's like a red thing under the back and the red thing on their arms, if you see, it's basically the same thing as the UGC item that I showed all you guys on the video. So basically, yeah, it's also stolen and it's not credit too. I don't know if it requires credits or you need to, or you can use. I'm pretty sure you can use, but you need credit. But I don't know about that part. But the part of Activision, you can't use any of their assets, which includes the machete and the truck car on the survival cutscene, which basically means they can take it out of the game. Most of the items on chain, like the tablet, the grenades, etc., are basically models from Sketchfab, which you can use because they are public, they are free, but you have to credit. If you ever wondered why your game always lags so much, it's because those three models has a lot of polygons, like, to be very detailed and stuff. So basically that's why sometimes chain is very unoptimized for low-end devices or mid-end devices, and that's why they can't optimize the game sometimes, because they can't model themselves a weapon. So if you ever wondered that, then that's your answer. There's also this screenshot about them saying about reusing assets from the game. From what game? That's my point. I don't know what game they are saying, but that already means that they were using some stuff before the survival was created. So very original of them. And since they have a lot of Robux, they could have used the Robux to hire more people, more modelers, to make the model more optimized, to be fair for every device. Not every device, but at least a good or decent device. So yeah. So we're gonna talk about the server now, the moderation of the server and the favoritism between the higher ranks. Let's get into the topic. So, about the favoritism that it has around the server, it's mainly because of fraud. Mainly. But it has other people involved too. And then we have this, evidence of mismanagement, which basically says, to clarify, Bois is Bino, or whatever you pronounce his name, is a person who got banned for rule breaking due to certain erotic comments or inappropriate images for a server full of minors. The following images will display fraud, letting someone in out of sheer bias, despite breaking the rules before and not making a ban appeal, but instead coming back with an alternative account. This would not have been the same case if they weren't connected with fraud when they did this. And in the following images, we have this. And then there's a part on fraud that he says, I meant redeem as in let them stay. If they do some dumb shit, they're out. And Astro said, isn't that a little biased? They're still doing bad invasion. And Fraud said, well, I did this before if I feel the person would redeem. Like, what's the point? That's literally favoritism and bias. And then we have another screenshot of the game moderators applications that I had a few weeks ago or a month ago, I don't remember, that a lot of people applied to the application and 2 people were selected, a guy called Talk to Dio and Vosvos or Vazari, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The guy called Talk to Dio, he has 642 messages. So I made a mistake. He didn't have 642 messages when he was hired. He had only 100 plus messages. And the requirements that was said on the applications is 1K messages. Isn't that very obvious? Isn't that bias? Just because his application was good doesn't mean he cannot meet the requirements. You need to meet the requirements. So if since he's applied, so what's the point of the requirements? Some of the game, no, not really game mods or server stuff apps. Some application, some of them were fair and some of them were unfair. Most of the applications always had a guy that was close to the higher ranks, close friends to the higher ranks. So yeah, that one spot could have gone to someone that actually put effort on the application. This stuff of favoritism is happening for very long while, like for few years already. Now we're gonna go to the last topic that is gonna be more serious and the most, not really most disturbing, but it is some disturbing behavior. So if you don't like any of the disturbing behavior, I suggest you leaving the video. So we have the recent actions that happened the last few weeks, like 12 days ago, 11 days ago. 11 days ago, Spree sent a sticker. I know this sounds like I'm finding dirt, but no, it's not that. Because my point is, he sent a sticker saying that racially motivated, which basically means this on your screen. I think my point is, why do you have this sticker in the first place? Spree said that Discord mobile was glitchy, right? And probably the glitch made him send that. I think the point is not the glitch. I think the point is, why do you have the sticker, which refers to something very bad? And now, a friend of mine will be taking over the video. I recommend you pay attention on the stuff that he's gonna say. So let's see what he's gonna say about it.
Hello, this is going to be my take on this situation. Thank you, Sang, for letting me be able to be a part of this video. Before I start, let me introduce myself. I'm going to be very vague so Suppression doesn't ban me. I'm a very close friend of Sanic. I was a very dedicated and active user in Suppression, contributing many ideas and artworks within the server that they were very well received by the community until now. Suppression was a great community. Met so many great people, including Sanic. But ever since I saw the documents and from what I saw with my own eyes, things aren't looking good. For example, Spree, being a young and inspirational developer, has done so much mischief, like producing not safe for work models and animations, saying the N-word 800 times, emphasis on the number 800. This is not even including Yuri, who has said the N-word 600 times. Following up on this, Capri. Oh, Capri, you so tough with that developer role. You should feel disgusted on yourself for serving people who said worse things than Sanic did. And they were not even to a bot. Another thing to mention is that this problem with Sanic saying the N-word was resolved months ago, only to be brought up again when Capri was a developer, to then be escalated by Capri, leading to a permanent, unappealable ban. And that's why we are bringing it up. There are clear signs of favoritism and unprofessionalism from the development team, particularly you, Capri. This is all based on facts, by the way. We have documents with lots of evidence. We also have witnesses of this entire conflict, going back way before I joined the server. For you people in Suppression defending them, you guys are brainwashed, following a fallacy that you guys should notice rather quickly after this endeavor that we have taken a part of. What we want out of this is for a better and fair moderation, the devs to remake every stolen asset to avoid DMCA strikes, and more productivity in the game by the devs, instead of them spending hundreds of thousands of Robux on the strongest battlegrounds, criminality, and other games. Lastly, we want sincere apologies from Spree, Yuri or Cryptic, Capri, and many other symbolic figures for their wrongdoings, and for them to actually change for the better.
As you guys saw the video about my friend, what he did, you guys also see that I also made a mistake. I said hard R. And I shouldn't have said it. I actually admit that was my mistake. And the guy that exposed me, he did the right thing. But after a few months, I took accountability and I went to the guy and I made an apology about it. He accepted my apology, as you guys can see. As you guys can see on the screenshots, you guys can see on the video. I took accountability of my actions. I admit to my mistakes. Yes, I did a defense video. I attacked some people. I shouldn't have done that. But after that, I made another video that was actually an apology. Sure, I made several mistakes before on Suppression, and I shouldn't have done it. But still, that's not a reason to over-exaggerate it on the situation on your server, as you say, right, Capri? Since you say that is your server. You knew about the Spree situation all this time. You said you wouldn't defend him, right, Capri? And why you're doing this now? Guy says, I saw the video. Thank you for bringing attention to this. And I said, you're welcome. And I said, I've been told that Yuri Cryptic didn't hire people that was any other sexualities and furries, which is kind of fucked up. And he says, it's true. And I said, what made them change their mind now? And the guy said, they didn't. Fraud just wanted me on the team because they liked me. So, is that obvious again? That's favoritism? You guys didn't have anyone to choose? I just don't understand this server. Server is dumb. Yeah, this is the end of the part 2. It will have a part 3, and it will include more stuff soon. And it takes some time to edit those type of video because you gotta scroll down all the stuff. Yeah, and hopefully they make the statement like they said before, right? Be safe out there, guys, and I see you guys in the next video.